All right, we're back with whatever episode this is. If you're just jumping in on this video, I encourage you to go back to the beginning of the playlist, watch episode 1 so that you know the terminology and some vocabulary and kind of some things get you spun up on what we may be talking about so then you don't get lost, okay? So in the previous video or previous episode, I shared with you 5 knots that I use all the time and that I recommend for you to learn over every other knot there is. Okay, it's just my recommendation. Take it for what it's worth. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 end loops for your rope, okay? Remember, I recommend on all of your ropes, whether it be for ridge lines, guy lines, whatever, to put a fixed loop at the end of your rope so that you can anchor it a lot faster, easier. Okay, so again, in this video, we're going to go over the top 5 end loops, how to tie them, what they could be used for, and, you know, hopefully it brings you something you didn't know before. So stay tuned and we'll get started. So the first loop that we're going to go over is the end of line bowline. I did that in the previous video, but in case you haven't watched that one, I'll just go over it again. This bowline is probably, in my opinion, the most reliable fixed loop. Okay, done at the end of the rope, obviously. You also have midline bowlines, etc. But the bowline is a secure loop that doesn't slip under any load. And it's easy to tie, it's easy to untie. I use it for literally everything. As I have them on my guy lines, as my every rope I have that's my fixed loop, is an end of line bowline. Okay. So again, we have working end, we have standing end. I'm going to go ahead and create an overhand loop with my standing end. With my working end, I'm going to come from underneath, well, from the backside or underneath it through that overhand loop. And then my working end, I'm going to route behind my standing end and then back through my loop, creating this specific shape of my knot. Okay, creating my fixed loop at the end of my rope. I should note that I'll drop up in here in one of these corners. I do have a video of several other different ways to tie the bowline. So there's like 900 billion different ways to skin a cat. Okay, you don't just have to do my way. But again, just to go a little bit faster, a simple thing you can tell yourself is you tell the story about the rabbit in the hole. Okay, so I create my hole using an overhand loop. So my working end is my rabbit. My rabbit comes out of the hole, back around the tree, and then back into the hole. Okay, take some practice, slow it down, whatever you got to do. So the next knot is going to be a perfection loop. So the perfection loop is a go-to for gear tie-offs, fish line terminations, right? It's a clean, tight knot that doesn't bulk up your system. In a fieldcraft use, it could be for terminating guy lines or tying off bundles or small tools, lightweight gear organization. The pros of it is that it's neat, it's compact, and it's fast to tie. A con is that it's not best for heavy load bearing, better for organization and light gear. Okay, so the way that we tie it is with, surprisingly, a series of loops. So I'm going to start off with creating a loop, overhand, underhand, it don't matter. And then with my working end, or excuse me, this is hard to do on a camera. All right, so to tie the perfection loop, I have my working end, I have my standing end. I'm going to create an underhand loop right there. And then what I'm going to do with my working end is I'm basically going to wrap around it, do a complete round turn. But when I come around this way, I want to go ahead and just hold on to this loop right here. I don't want to go ahead and pull it all the way down. I want to hold on to that loop right there. So then I essentially have 2 loops. But you see that my working end is beneath my standing end. And I'm going to go ahead and essentially wrap again. But when I do, I'm going to lay it in between those 2 loops. And then I'm going to reach through this one, the first loop that I made, and I'm going to grab the second loop that we made, and I'm just going to pull it tight. And that's how you tie a perfection loop. Again, rope and knot discipline, making sure that nothing's twisted or bound. So this next knot is probably one you haven't heard of, and it's completely underrated. It is a slip knot, and it's mostly used, or it's very beneficial to use with slippery or nylon ropes. In a fieldcraft sense, it's good. It's great for snares or trapping rigs, tying onto slippery or synthetic cordage where a low profile matters. A pro for this knot is it's great for slick cordage and traps and snare loops. A con is that it's slightly tougher to untie, especially when it's under load, and that has to do with the fact that, again, it's good for slippery knots and stuff, and so as this tightens and binds on there, it's going to be incredibly tough to untie. So this one is called the poacher's knot. In the way that we tie a poacher's knot is you go ahead and create a bite, and then all you're going to do with your working end is you're going to wrap it twice. So once, and then twice. And then you see where it's crossed right here. You're going to take that working end and you're just going to feed it through that, or behind that cross there. Dress it accordingly, making sure that you don't have any twists, turns, bends, whatever, and that it's dressed appropriately. And now you have yourself a poacher's knot. This next knot is a double figure 8 loop. This is a climbing knot and used primarily whenever I'm using recovery mechanism, making recovery mechanisms for hoisting, dragging equipment, or for anchor systems for when I need to rappel. So climbers and rescue teams prefer this knot because it doesn't deform under stress. In a fieldcraft use, hauling gear, rescue drag lines, anchor points for pulley systems or rappelling, this knot is your go-to. Its pro is that it's incredibly strong and it keeps its shape even under load. And also under tension, and when this gets wet, this is a bear to untie. So to tie your double figure 8 loop, it starts by getting a bite, a pretty sizable bite. And then all you're going to do with this is you're going to bring your bite down and across, and then you're going to come behind and through the loop. Again, knot discipline, ensuring that none of my knots or none of my ropes are twisted, like it is right here, right? So we're going to want to go ahead and dress that up. There. Good to go. Okay, we'll do that again nice and slow. It's hard to do with a camera, so bear with me. So I have my pretty sizable bite. I'm going to I'm going to create a overhand loop, basically. Then I'm going to wrap behind, and then I'm going to push it through these loops. and then pull it tight and dress it. Secure your carabiner on there, you're good to go. And so the final knot is going to be a surgeon's knot, as displayed on the paracord, because you're definitely not going to do this with the big bulky rope. But if you need a strong, fast, strong loop in a short period of time, this is what you can tie. This is great for fishing line, tying off bundles, or just quick guy lines. In a fieldcraft sense, emergency tie-outs, quick utility loops for hanging gear, camp tasks requiring for fast prep. The pro to this is that it's fast to tie, it holds tight, but the con is that it's not as neat or compact as a perfection loop, or in my opinion, the Bowline, and more bulky for general use. So this knot is incredibly simple to tie, and it just starts by getting a bite, okay? Now, if we treat this as our working end and this is our standing end, I'm going to go ahead and create an overhand loop, okay? So I'm going to feed that through like I'm tying an overhand knot. But instead of terminating the knot there, I'm just going to do it one more time. And then pull it tight. And then from here, you just dress it up. We got some twisting ropes. Okay. Just like so. Boom. Surgeon's loop. So those were the 5 top end-of-line loops. And again, you can learn them all. It'd be great. My go-tos is the Bowline every time is my primary for a fixed secured loop at the end of my line. My figure 8, my double figure 8 is always used for my anchors when I'm doing like body rappels or recovery mechanisms of that or anything like that. Again, I'm too smooth-brained to know what every knot is for, so I always choose the ones that I trust the most because I've done them for years in the field and they've been reliable every single time. So just like every other video, my challenge to you is practice these knots. Practice them at night. Practice them blindfolded. Practice them wet. Okay, get used to tying these under pressure and under different circumstances, so then when you get into those situations, you're better prepared. And then go ahead and tag me on my socials so then I can see what you're doing and we can grow together. What knots do you prefer? I only shared 5. Are there any that you prefer? Let me know in the comments. But until then, if you like the video, if you like this series, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know that too. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so that you can be notified for the next videos that get released. Like the video, share with a friend, and until next time, prepare, train, survive. I'm Patrick, and we'll catch you on the next one.